Welcome to the channel. Today we will meet Ho Karen, the lion cub, and the baby. Brave wildlife rescuer Karen received a strange distress call.
Ow!
She was told that deep in the forest, two little souls are lost.
Right.
But when she reached the jungle and saw who it was, her eyes popped wide open. The caller was right.
Right.
Deep in the heart of the green wilderness, there were tears. A small human baby was crying loudly, and next to him was a tiny lion cub whose big yellow eyes were also filled with concern. The brave rescuer approached them cautiously. She got closer. She could see that the two babies were hugging each other to calm down. At first glance, it seemed like a crazy scene from a movie, a baby and a lion cub sitting next to each other in the middle of the jungle. But then she noticed something else. There was no one else around, no adults. They were completely alone. With great care, Karen approached the pair. She gently stroked the lion cub's head, who responded by purring loudly and nuzzling against her hand. His little tail thumped happily against the ground. Karen had never seen anything like this before. Usually animals like this are afraid of humans. But the lion cub seemed to trust her and see no danger in her. It was touching to see how he licked her fingers with his rough little tongue. And when she looked at the baby, she realized that he was also reaching out to her. The little boy stopped crying and stared at her for a few moments. He was dirty, hungry, and scared, but the most important thing was that he was alive. How did these two babies end up in the middle of the jungle all alone? Karen carefully lifted the baby in her arms. The moment she did, the lion cub immediately stood up on his little paws and started growling. Although the sound came out more like a meow because of his size, Karen understood what he wanted to tell her. He was warning her to keep away from his friend, the baby. She stroked the cub's head again and said in a calming voice, "Don't worry, I won't hurt him." After hearing her words, the lion cub calmed down a bit and laid back down next to the baby. But even so, he kept one eye open to watch over his new friend. When Karen looked at the baby, she realized that he had a bracelet on his arm with an engraved name and a phone number. She quickly dialed the number and soon the happy parents picked up. They couldn't believe what they heard. Her baby was found, but not alone. There was also a lion cub with him. But then Karen heard something incredible. The parents said that the lion cub belonged to a circus that had passed through town a few days before. The tent where the lions lived had been torn apart by a storm and one of the cubs had managed to escape. Most likely it was this little lion who had met the baby in the forest and taken care of him. Karen couldn't believe it. How could these two completely different creatures become friends? She felt a deep connection between them. The little lion was like a big brother watching over his little sibling. He snuggled close to the baby, protecting and comforting him. The baby, in turn, seemed to understand the lion and respond to his needs. It was a touching sight to behold. And now, many years later, Karen witnessed a similar bond between the lion cub and the baby. Maybe it was something in their eyes that reminded her of that story. But in this case, the story didn't end there. Now that Karen knew where the lion cub came from, she went to the authorities and told them what she had seen. The police immediately took action, and soon the circus people were found. They were shocked to hear that one of their lions had escaped, and even more surprised to learn that it had befriended a baby. They arrived at the clearing where Karen had found the lion cub and the baby. They couldn't believe what they saw. The circus people were very worried about the cub and immediately offered him some food. He ate with such a huge appetite that they understood why he had become friends with the baby. The little one was simply hungry and lonely. The leader of the circus asked Karen if she could take the lion cub with her until they figured out what to do with him. She readily agreed. When it was time to take the cub away, the baby started crying loudly. The lion cub also seemed very upset, but he allowed Karen to pick him up without a fight. When Karen took the lion cub home, she introduced him to her other pets, a dog and a cat. Surprisingly, they all got along well. The lion cub played with the dog, chasing him around the house, and when it was time to sleep, he cuddled up to the cat, purring loudly. Days turned into weeks, and Karen grew attached to the lion cub. She played with him, fed him, and most importantly, gave him a lot of love and affection. But she knew that he couldn't stay with her forever. Eventually, he would have to return to the circus or live in a zoo. One day, Karen decided to visit the baby. She wanted to know how he was doing, and if he missed the lion cub as much as Karen did. When she arrived at the house, she was warmly welcomed by the baby's parents. They were so happy to see Karen again and thanked her for taking care of their son. They told her that their little boy hadn't stopped talking about the lion cub. He missed his friend very much, and often asked when he would get to see him again. Karen's heart melted when she heard this. She missed the lion cub too, and it made her happy to know that he was missed as much. As they talked, the parents mentioned that they had spoken to the circus people and expressed their desire for the lion cub to stay with Karen. They felt that the cub was happier with her, and that he needed more love and care than what the circus could provide. After hearing this, Karen's heart skipped a beat. Could it be possible that the lion cub would stay with her forever? She couldn't believe her ears. Parents continued, saying that they understood the bond Karen had with the lion cub, and that they supported her in every way. They knew that Karen would give the cub the love and attention he needed. Karen was deeply touched by their words. She couldn't thank them enough for their support and understanding. She promised to take good care of the lion cub and make sure he grew up to be a happy and healthy lion. At that moment, Karen realized that she wasn't just taking care of a lion cub, she was taking care of a member of her family. She felt a deep sense of responsibility and love for the little creature. She knew that no matter what happened, she would always be there for him. From that day on, Karen and the lion cub became inseparable. They played, explored, and shared countless adventures together. The bond they formed was unbreakable and filled with love and laughter. Kana knew that she had found a true friend in the lion cub. As the months passed, the lion cub grew bigger and stronger, but he never forgot the lessons of friendship and loyalty that Kana taught him. He became a kind and gentle lion, always ready to lend a helping paw to those in need. And so, their story continued, filled with happiness, love, and the unwavering bond between a girl and her lion cub. But after several months, the forest rangers found the lion cub's parents. They were shocked to see how well he was doing and agreed that he should stay with Karen. However, they asked that he be returned to the wild so he could live among his own kind. This broke Karen's heart. She couldn't imagine her life without the lion cub, but she knew that he needed to be free. With heavy steps, Karen walked into the forest with the lion cub. Each step was like tearing her soul to pieces. The thought of never seeing the lion cub again filled her with sadness. Suddenly, the lion cub stopped and turned to look at Karen. He nudged her hand with his wet nose as if saying goodbye. Karen knelt down and hugged the lion cub tightly. Tears streamed down her face. She whispered, "Goodbye, my dear friend. I will miss you." When she finally pulled away, the lion cub had disappeared. Karen called out his name, but there was no answer. She wandered through the forest, calling for the lion cub, but he was nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, Karen heard a familiar growl. She froze and slowly turned around. There he was, the lion cub, and next to him were two majestic lionesses. Karen understood that they were the lion cub's mother and sister. The lioness approached Karen and rubbed against her leg, as if thanking her for taking care of her cub. Then she turned and walked away, signaling for Karen to follow her. Karen couldn't believe what she was seeing. Was the lioness leading her somewhere? Karen followed the lioness deeper into the forest. She had a feeling that something incredible awaited her. And she was right. Ahead she could see a clearing bathed in the warm glow of the sunset. In the center of the clearing was a small house built in the style of a hut. But that wasn't what amazed Karen. What really caught her eye were the many lions that were gathered around the house. They were all friendly and curious, eager to greet Karen. Among them, she saw the lion cub, who was now bigger and stronger than when she had first met him. He ran towards her, purring loudly and rubbing against her legs. Karen felt an overwhelming sense of happiness and love. She had found the lion cub's family, and they had accepted her as one of their own. At that moment, Karen understood that their friendship had grown beyond species and boundaries. The lions had welcomed her into their midst, and she would always be part of their pride. As the sun set over the horizon, Karen spent the night with the lions, sharing stories and laughter around the cozy fire. She felt a deep sense of belonging and gratitude for the lions, who had opened their hearts and home to her. When it was time for Karen to leave, the lions surrounded her, bidding her farewell. The lion cub nuzzled her hand, and she knew that their friendship would last forever. As Karen walked away from the clearing, she looked back one last time. She saw the lions gathered around the fire, and in the center, the lion cub, who was now a symbol of their enduring bond. Karen knew that she would never forget her time with the lions. Their friendship had taught her valuable lessons about love, loyalty, and the power of nature. She carried those lessons with her always, reminding her of the incredible journey she had experienced.